Part 161. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gongwei Pang. Chapter 1616. Yanj was fascinated, but Saburo stopped at this critical moment. She shook Sabur's arm and anxiously urged, "What happened afterwards? Is Xiaohuo dead? Did he and Xiaoshu's child also die? If they were split like that by Tianli, the spirits would be scattered. Are they all dead?" "No." In the darkness, Saburo's soft eyes were entangled in the body of the woman in his arms, and he raised his hand and squeezed her nose before continuing. "He is the only existence in heaven and earth that can seal God, and is the son of heaven. Even if it is split into coke, it will not be so easy to die." But the baby in his arms couldn't bear the thunder that had been thrown by the Tao this day. The flesh became dregs in his arms. The scum in the arms has the smell of charred wood. The smell, the first time he smelled it, was when he left Phoenix Fire. He held her root touch, and her root touch was burned by Phoenix Fire. The second time, before, she ran towards him in a wolf, holding his hand to run with him. This is her own taste. At that moment, he suddenly had an incredible idea in his mind. He held the pile of wood ashes, thundered day by day, bowed down step by step, and entered a temple. Bury the pile of ashes beside the bones of a seated Buddha. After everything was settled, he left the temple. The baby's body has been ruined. He wants to help the baby reshape his body. But rebuilding the body is not so easy. And Tianlei didn't let him go. He didn't seal the gods. Tianlei followed him step by step, which made him step by step difficult. But he was a black coke, because of his heart. Step by step, he reached the top of the 3000 world. At the top of the 3000 realms, there was a refiner who had heard the master say that this refiner, who lives with heaven and earth, has always been at the top of the 3000 realms. But no one knows what he's building. He thought that this person would definitely help him to make baby. Who must carry sky thunder. In fact, it is true. He made a deal with the refiner, and after a long wait, he finally got a that could bear the spirit of his child. When he returned to the temple, a small green bud emerged from the pile of wood ashes he had buried. The little green shoots can grow up. He's broken. I was standing by every day, watching the little green bud grow up day by day. He even learned that she used to count the leaves from small green shoots every day. Although he is still being hacked by thunder, he has expectations and hope every day. The small green shoots grow quickly, the bigger and bigger, gradually become a towering tree. But when this big tree grows into a lush leafy tree, it will not deform and never grow. It grows up in spring, flourishes in summer, and yellow leaves fall in autumn. In winter, the trees will wither. After withering, green shoots emerged from the tree's heart, and grew again. He thought of a lot of ways that would not allow the small tree to flourish forever. 1 year old and one dry, seems endless. Later, he discovered that the big tree could not survive because her spirit was not here. Tianyan Shen Mu Sheng comes from the chaos world. The chaos realm wanders among the 3 realms, but is not restricted by the 3 realms. When she first entered the chaos realm, because of curiosity, she buried her roots in the chaos realm. She meant to make the chaos realm a green world. But I did not expect that such an inadvertent move saved her. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gongwei Pang. Chapter 1617. Xiaoshu threw the body fused with her heart into the realm of chaos. The roots of the tree that she had buried in the chaos world, which had never taken root, began to sprout slowly, and gradually grew. Although her spirits are lacking, she has to be kept. He didn't know it was such a reason. It wasn't until later that she understood that she was 1 year old and withered because the spirit was not here and there was nothing in it. Sky mines in Tiandao are getting denser. This is urging him to reincarnate. From heaven's perspective, he is unwilling to seal God, because the impurities in his body have not been washed away. Only through reincarnation and reincarnation can he be reworked without any impurities. This behavior is like filtering and trimming again and again. He had to reincarnate in the 3,000 realms. After each reincarnation, she returned to the upper bound, stood in front of that tree, and poured out all the pure energy of the system brought back from the plane on her tree into the plane reincarnation, although there will be no memory. However, his own mentality is firm, not only will not be affected by foreign objects, but also because of the identity of the Son of Heaven, tempted many systems and missionaries who want to take advantage of him. At the end of the reincarnation, he will have those illegal, unrecognized systems that have countless abundant energy, and exercise those energy into small green shoots. During the limited time in the upper bound, he watered her and fertilized her. Then reincarnation again. Yan Ji asked with some doubt, "What is it, impurity?" Saburo thought about it and replied softly, "Impurities, in the eyes of the cultivators, these are the 7 emotions and 6 desires." 7 emotions and 6 desires, Yan Song bewildered, is this impurities? If there is no 7 emotions and 6 desires, there is no difference between the cold and the stone, how can this be considered an impurity? From the perspective of heaven, it is an impurity. Saburo knew that Yanj couldn't figure it out, and simply changed it another way. In fact, from the perspective of heaven, the impurity is the demon. The 2 words of the demon are understandable. She grabbed Saburo's finger and said with some sympathy, "In fact, when this phoenix was thrown by his mother into the valley of Phoenix, he would have a demon. The demon that can be overcome is not a demon," Saburo explained, "his demon was born from a small tree jumping off the abyss." "I understand. Although he has resentment against his mother, he thinks that it is the other party's fault, so this is not a demon. He cannot defend himself or redeem himself, and he cannot forget it. A demon is born. Is it the devil wrapped in the little baby? Is it his demon? Yes. Since his demon has left, why should Tiandeo reincarnate him? After the birth of the demon, it will continue to breed." Yanj sounded incomprehensible. Why is his demon constantly flowing? Saburo didn't answer. Yanj sighed, "I seem to understand why the flat-haired beast made the evil dragon forget him." She added, "If I were a little tree, I would definitely let that phoenix forget her. Otherwise it would be so painful to be alive." Saburo stiffened slightly, and whispered, "Is it?" Yanji nodded, "Yeah, now I think the flat-haired beast is doing the right thing. But the evil dragon is reluctant to forget." Saburo added, "He didn't want to forget that phoenix. The day he spent with the tree was the best day of his life. Forgetting it was no different from falling back into darkness." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gong Wei Pang. Chapter 1618. The words are dumb. She thinks Saburo is right. However, I think it's better to forget. It's just a story. She didn't want to get too involved. She wants to know the end now. Well, is he finally waiting for the little tree to reshape and their children? He has already refined the children's body, and it is okay to take the child back from the demon. Saburo whispered, "No, he is still in reincarnation." Yanj, you said, will he meet the small tree during the reincarnation? Does the small tree also enter the reincarnation, and then they are successful in the reincarnation? It won't be perfect. Once Tiandeo finds out the existence of Xiaoshu, she will destroy her in front of him. Tiandeo has always been his sharpening stone. Yanj looked worried. Will he continue to reincarnate like this? He hasn't remembered in reincarnation, he can't always be like this. When Saburo heard the words, he laughed lowly, and he rubbed his soft hair. "Yeah, you can't go on like this, so that Xiaoshu will become his stepping stone again, so he hides the truth and treats himself. Those demons are all sealed in a small world. What's the use of this? Yanj waited for Saburo to answer, his eyes lit up, and asked, is there a ghost in their little world, in that little world? Well, because their child is not full, the spirit is incomplete, and they have suffered heavy damage from the sky, and they have no consciousness. The black gas that was wrapped in the child's primordial spirit was the thought of Tiandeo smashing out of him, which is the demon. In order to repair the baby's spirit, the demon walks around the world carrying the baby, doing countless good works every day, and using the pure source of gratitude of those tiny creatures to help the baby repair the missing soul. The demon started from the moment he was smashed from him, and separated from his consciousness. At the beginning, I still remember why the mending of the baby's spirit, but the years flow, and the demon forgets everything. Helping babies repair their souls has become a daily routine for the demon. Day after day, year after year. Later, the demon found out that there is such an existence in the world. Her soul source can withstand the gratitude of human beings thousands of times. The demon devours her soul source to repair the baby's spirit. The baby's spirit gradually became complete, secretly left the demon to go out to play, was attracted and crashed into a woman's belly, and then followed the woman's spirit into the woman's body. Yanj, only the mother can repair the child. Is it the existence that the demon found, that is the small tree? The baby may be attracted to it, too, Saburo, I guess right? Yeah, Saburo said, the baby returned to his mother's body. Mother baby in the plane, is it the little tree in the chaos world? The little tree has already woken up from the chaos world, should he be remembered? I don't remember. She gave her heart to that phoenix, so she forgot everything. She kept entering the plane to survive. Well, then he will lose his memory in the reincarnation, isn't he? He doesn't know Xiaoshu anymore, wouldn't he meet each other? He said, yeah. Yan's voice was worried, what about that one? Slowly getting better. Yanj, well, what about the demon? No, the demon is washed by time, unconscious. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gongwei Pang. Chapter 1619. Yanj waited for a long time, and did not wait for Saburo to continue, curious, is the story over? Haven't continued to say if the family of three is reunited. Saburo bowed his head and kissed her brows, do you want them to reunite? Of course, Yanj said, the stories are all reunited. This phoenix and his little tree are not so easy, they must be reunited. If you think of it this way, they will definitely reunite. Although Saburo's voice was light, he was very firm, sooner or later, their family of three will reunite. That's great, Yanj asked inquisitively again. When do you say they will end in reincarnation, and who will eventually find who? Saburo didn't answer her. He said softly, do you want to resurrect him? Yanj turned up and sat up, looking at Saburo with surprise. Saburo, do you have a way? She hugged him and shouted happily, Saburo, I know you have a way, you're too good. The phoenix in the story finally came to an end. So Yanj is now eager for the phoenix, a flat-haired beast, to be successful. Before that, she went to the bamboo house where the evil dragon and the flat-haired beast had lived. Yanj thought that after the flat-haired animal was born and killed, the evil dragon would leave the bamboo house and live in a place like he longed in, like her previous habits. But unexpectedly, the evil dragon did not leave. Evil dragon gave birth to a child and was a little girl. When Yanj went, the girl with two buns was looking for a bug in the bamboo forest. Yanji looked familiar with her clothes. Afterwards, I remembered that when the flat-haired beast disappeared that day, the evil dragon held a pile of clothes and wept. Presumably this dress was made by the evil dragon. The evil dragon is really a good mother. When the girl saw Yanj, she immediately reached out and made a hush gesture, and whispered, there are evil dragons here, the kind of cannibals. You should leave quickly, otherwise you would startle evil dragons, but you will be eaten dropped. Words of song. She knelt down and rubbed the little girl's hair. This hair looks so beautiful. Did your mother tie it for you? The little girl patted her hands on the words, my mother won't pierce her hair. Don't be so familiar, I'm too busy to talk to you. Yan Ji said nothing, she looked at the girl's eyebrows carefully. Ren Xiaolong's human form is charming and enchanting, and a smile is more engaging than a fox. However, the flat-haired beast is a kind of thin and handsome figure. When it laughs, the flat-haired beast is particularly handsome and kind. She thought the little girl looked more like a flat-haired beast. The little girl crouched down and continued playing with the dirt to find bugs. She said, is that the man next to you? You have to be optimistic. The evil dragon here likes to eat men the most. If you are interested, you run away. Without waiting for the words to respond, the voice of the evil dragon in the bamboo house sounded, Feng Xiao, are you playing with dirt again? No, no mother, I didn't play with soil, I thought about it in front of a tree. Fearing that her words are not convincing, this little girl named Feng Xiao said, Mother, there are two strangers, a man, a woman, and you want to come out and scare them away. Words of song. The evil dragon did not show his face, but said, the woman is your aunt, and the man is your aunt. The little girl heard the words, stood up immediately, and looked at the song with an excited look, are you my aunt? Then you are the killer tree with a leaf on your head that can poison countless people. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gong Wei Pang. Chapter 1620. The little girl looked at the song with admiration, and, I heard my mother talk about you, a tree, why are you so poisonous, you are the object of my study. Words of song, I immediately felt that my image was very big. She didn't expect that evil dragon would have picked her up in front of the little girl, or as an aunt. Her little aunt seemed to be doing something wrong. Yan Ji had a complicated heart, and she took out all her precious treasures and piled them up in front of the little girl. The little girl couldn't be happier, holding a bunch of things to lead the way. My mother said that her aunt was particularly frustrated. She was a fragile waist. When she was in trouble, she squatted, but the man looked good, so he could live to this age. Yan Song, want to take back my own treasures. The little girl didn't notice the change in her words. She rarely got a close friend to go to her relatives, and continued to say, well, it's not like my mother. Her man is a short-lived ghost. She died early. My mother is alone. Xiao Peanut was forced to become a tyrant, and with your experience, I will not be able to find short-lived ghosts when I find a man in the future, which will affect the quality of life too. Words of song. Why did she feel that the little girl was right? The evil dragon is sitting by the window of the bamboo house to sew clothes. She wore a bright red dress with a lot of braids in her hair with red rope. Looks like a bright and charming girl from a distance. But she was close. Seeing her slightly drooping eyebrows, she was so beautiful, but it always made her feel like she was in a sorrow. She was no longer a girl, but she was waiting for her husband to return. Woman. Going closer, Yan Ji saw at a glance that this woman really didn't have much talent for sewing clothes. The clothes were crisscrossed by her, and she wouldn't say anything. She poked a few needles and pricked her fingers with blood holes. Glancing at Yan Yanj and Saburo, she snorted and turned to the stove. She has always been indifferent to people. Even so, Yanj feels flattered. After all, she didn't yell or kill when she met. The evil dragon left, and Yanj picked up the needlework basket on the table. The stitches of the clothes were stitched left and right. Really can't bear to look straight. So who made the fine stitched clothes on the little girl? The girl secretly said to Yanj, my mother is going to cook. Words, well. Little girl, well, if you can mother's cooking, You'll never forget it? Yanj, ah, your mother is so good now. The little girl narrowed her eyes and spoke with pity. The expression is the same as the little one. Yanj smiled and touched her fluttering face. The little girl was lying lazily on the table, and whispered to Yanj, I remember my father. She was surprised at Shang Yanj and continued, my father left me a lot of words, but my mother can't remember. My father said that my mother was sick. It's best not to remember. Look at my mother. Is it okay now? Yanj thinks that the current evil dragon is actually better than before. The old evil dragon is really evil, so he said sincerely, she is now very good. Really, the little girl wasn't satisfied with the answer, and immediately she didn't like the words, she poked her lips. Then you will eat more fish cooked by my mother. The fish stewed by the evil dragon cannot be described as poisonous. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gong Wei Pang. Chapter 1621. Yanj finally understood why the little girl always mentioned the fish stew of her own mother-in-law. The evil dragon took a large pot of stewed fish, and she fished it first. She eats slowly, and her movements are particularly elegant. She just looks at her food and thinks it is delicious on earth. Yanj dare not say that it is not delicious, after all, people are so polite. She lowered her head and ate a fish. She turned around and saw that Saburo was eating too. After eating the fish, the little girl was going to clean up the pot. Saburo took over the job. The evil dragon obliquely sang the words, it is so fragrant, why aren't you afraid I will put poison in the pot? Words of song, which I can see that she eats very fragrant. Say, what's wrong with me? Yan song, I just came to see you. The evil dragon dragged his eyes and rolled his eyes, you haven't had time to hide from me. Why would you think of me and say, what the is going on, I might not be able to help you while I'm in a good mood, or get out early. Words of song, still a familiar evil dragon, this style of painting made her feel much more relaxed. Well, it's really okay. I was passing by and wanted to see it again. Who knew that the evil dragon moved? The evil dragon laughed, raised his eyes and sang the song, are you asking me to save him? Yan's song was interrupted by her headless words, her face confused, ah. However, the evil dragon thought that Yanj was acting like a pretender, and she sneered, I won't save him, and it's no use asking me. Yanj followed her gaze and saw Saburo, who was cleaning the bowl in the stove, outside the window. No, you misunderstood, Yanj said, I just came to see you and the child. The evil dragon looked sideways and stared at Yanj. After staring for a while, he laughed lowly, you won't know it until now. You are about to run out of Saburo. Yanj was surprised and looked back at Saburo outside. Saburo finished washing the pots and bowls and was sitting on the steps with the young girl. He made a grasshopper out of bamboo leaves and handed it to the young girl. Yanj was a little shy, and she murmured subconsciously, what did you just say? Longevity. Every talent has a long life, and a tree demon like her has a long life, so she doesn't need to worry about such things. Therefore, she never thought that Saburo would have such a problem. The evil dragon did not respond, staring at the silly Yan with a playful look. Yanj, Saburo's birthday is here? How did you tell? Do you think I'll be as idiot as you and can't see anything? Yanj didn't care about the evil dragon, and she continued to ask with a flustered voice, then, can you help him? Yes, but I don't want to. I'll help you get the flat hair beast back. Would you please help me extend Saburo's life? The evil dragon heard the words and looked at the words with an intellectual disability. She said, if you're sick, a dead person, get him back and do something, be a ghost. Now the evil dragon, She doesn't have much deep memory of the flat-haired beast, and she knows that her own man died short of the short-lived ghost. As for the others, it has faded to nothing in her mind. The words were blocked by her words, speechless. Until leaving the bamboo house for a long time, Yanj was in a state of unwillingness. The little girl has been conquered by Saburo's various gadgets, and she watched Saburo babble away. At the end, he turned to the house and said to her mother, "Mother, my father must be more fun than my aunt." The evil dragon has picked up his needlework basket and started to compete with needlework again. She heard a tingling in her fingers, and it was the needle that poked her finger again. There was a moment of irritation in front of her eyes, and her heart fretted inexplicably. She frowned softly. "Your dead ghost father is the most boring, and my mother forgot what he looks like. I really forgot. I can't think of it, and I'm not interested to think about it. A man who couldn't remember her was extremely boring. After my death, the villain blackened again." Author, Ben Gong Wei Pang. Chapter 1622. Saburo took Yanj's hand and saw her walking slowly. She asked softly, "Can't you move? I carry you." Yanj looked up and looked at Saburo's eyebrows. Saburo looks good. Although he is doing the savage work of cutting monsters and removing demons, his facial features are beautiful and gentle, and when he looks at him, he sees a beautiful world that sees the fragrance of birds and flowers, and his mood will be better. "Looking at what?" Yanj's gaze shifted to his hair. "I'm looking to see if you have white hair. How can someone with no wrinkles or beard live?" She didn't see half white hair on his head. Like him, he couldn't see anyone who was about to die. Yanj couldn't figure it out. He simply asked, "Saburo, are you going to live?" Saburo stepped forward, and he nodded. If the evil spirit dragon said, Yanj was still skeptical and did not really take this matter to heart. But now, Sabur's low makes her head burst into a thunder. For a moment, the brain was blank, and only a feeling of despair was spreading. It is as if the sky is about to fall. In fact, Saburo's longevity in Yanj's cognition that Saburo is the sky is almost the same as that of the sky. In her daily life, Saburo is taking care of her. Her life revolves around Saburo. Even her daily fun to watch people fight is also staged by Saburo and those demons. Without Saburo, she couldn't think of anything else in her life. So after the brain crashed briefly, Yanj took Saburo's arm, turned and walked towards the bamboo house again. "Saburo, the evil dragon said she can help you to continue your life, let's go to her again." Saburo held Yanji's hand and pulled her. He said, "The number of lives is fixed, and life and death are away from the normal circumstances of others. You don't need to change your life against the sky." Yanj opened his mouth and looked blank. "So, then you're gone, what can I do?" Saburo took her hand and walked forward slowly. He said, "You can go elsewhere to see the scenery. The outside world is more exciting than here," he said. Yanj took his arm and stomped his feet. But I want you to stay with me." He touched her head with a smile. "Aren't you going to find that phoenix? Find him and you to accompany me. There is no contradiction at all." Saburo said and asked her again, "What did you say to the evil dragon in the room?" Yanji shook her head. "Nothing. In fact, she still remembers flat hair beasts, but she didn't seem to be so worried." After a pause, she also said, "I think she's pretty good now. When the flat-haired animal was born and killed, her desperate despair looked sad. Now she is much more gentle than before. The gentleness of the evil dragons cannot be compared with others, and can only be compared with the previous evil dragons." Saburo thoughtfully, "Is she okay?" Yanji nodded. "It's much better than she used to be. The previous evil dragons were terrible. The fish she cooks is unpalatable, especially unpalatable. She even eats it with great taste." Saburo chuckled. Probably the taste buds of Xiaolong are different from ours. This explanation makes sense. Yanj took a few steps and whispered, she has extremely poor needlework, and her fingers are full of blood pierced with needles. You said that she couldn't do it? After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gong Weipang. Chapter 1623. Maybe used to it. Saburo, I'll make a robe for you the other day, too. I think my needlework is better than hers. It's dangerous to do needlework. You'll stick your fingers. Don't do it. I wouldn't be as stupid as Evil Dragon, and I would definitely not get my finger on it. Two gradually talked about making clothes. It wasn't until the evening that I remembered after speaking the song. Saburo's life is coming. Ah! Why did she forget it? The sky is big, and nothing is as big as Saburo's life is near. Why did she forget it? The thought of Saburo's life neared, Yanj's heart was upset. She turned around and held Sabur's neck around. Saburo, when will your birthday come? Can you not extend my birthday to you? I don't want to sleep alone, I am too lonely, and I am happy with you. Practice will rise, without you, I will practice slowly and slowly. Saburo bowed her head, kissed her forehead, kissed her nose and lips, then I'll give you all the repairs when I get there. Really? Okay. Ah, no, Saburo. I didn't do it because of your cultivation. I mainly wanted to help you live longer. Life and death are destiny, no need to continue. Oh. Yanj thinks Saburo's attitude is strange. But she couldn't tell why it was strange. However, she really admired Saburo. It is worthy of the man he fancy, and he can deal with it calmly in front of life and death. It was not easy to revive the flat-haired beast. Saburo said that the flat-haired beast born into her body after death, she needs to go to other small worlds, strip off the part of the soul that belongs to the flat-haired beast to recover the flat-haired beast. Saburo also gave her a small phoenix sculpture, saying that it was an artifact that could hold the source of the soul of the flat-haired animal. The carvings made by Little Phoenix are wonderful and beautiful, and you can feel the huge pure energy contained in the hands. Yanji couldn't help but look at it for a while, and was curious, is this phoenix without a tail? Saburo answered without changing his face, I don't know if phoenix has a tail. In fact, this is a defective artifact, which was eliminated when he built the body for his son. It's just a lack of a tail. I think he still lacked a bone at that time, so he was just a phoenix. Also, maybe Phoenix doesn't have a tail. Yanji carefully packed the little phoenix into the purse of his arms. I have to go to another small world to strip the soul of the flat-haired beast, Sanlang, just in case. What do you do if I go away? Saburo heard that his eyes became more lustrous. It was probably moved by such concerns as Yanj. Yanj sighed and continued to add, at that time, you will close your eyes and legs and kick, but no one will collect the corpse for you, and you will have a corpse in the wilderness. Your enemies are everywhere, maybe everyone wants to smash you. If you swallow it in your stomach, you won't be miserable after death. Saburo opened his mouth and said in his worried face, thank you for thinking about me that way. Yanj, then do you know when you will die? I will wait for you to die, and bury you before you go. Saburo was silent. Yanj, can't you determine the approximate time? Saburo. He was going to die. She seemed a little happy and excited, not at all sad as she said. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gong Weipang. Chapter 1624. Yanj, can't you determine the time? Saburo, yes. He paused and asked her softly, I'm afraid you'll be sad if you know the time. Yanji thought for a while, in fact, I don't know the time now and I'm very sad. When you think of you, no one will cook for me, no one will fight and let me see, and no one will sleep with me, I will be sad. Her words turned, but you also said that life and death are destiny. Since you don't want to continue, I can't always be sad. She looked at Saburo sincerely, don't worry, I'm not a woman like Evil Dragon. I will be sad for 2 days when you die, and I won't be sad anymore. I will try to find another man who is just like you. Saburo, he wasn't worried at all, he was a little sad. Saburo touched the head of his words, let me go before I die. Yanji nodded and smiled and said, well, I will collect your body for you. Although he is about to die, Saburo still walks on the road of cutting monsters and removing monsters every day. Yanj feels that in these days with him, it seems that as long as he can move, he has been cutting monsters and removing monsters. Leisurely days. When he looked for the demon to be beheaded, Yanji not only squatted on one side, but also sewed clothes secretly. She intends to put on her clothes before he dies. She thought it would be easy to sew clothes, but it turned out that it wasn't as easy as it seemed. The progress of Yanj's clothes slowed down. Later, she thought sadly, even if Saburo couldn't wear it alive, it was not too late to wear it after death. Fortunately, this dress was finally made in the secret of Yanj. She almost couldn't wait for the sacrifices to come to Saburo. Saburo, Saburo, look, what clothes do I make for you, look good. It was a green dress and a color of her tree leaves. She used to be white, but later found that the color of blood on her clothes would scare her, so his clothes were dark purple from the inside out. He didn't really wear such a tender dress. But it was her hard work. She secretly did this for so long, so many fingers punctured, he no longer tied her fingers in order to let her finish as soon as possible, and also helped her secretly sewn after she fell asleep. So even if it was a green color, Saburo was surprised, little song, you are too great. He took the clothes and tried to wear them. I realized afterwards that the position of the shoulder and the sleeve link of this dress was sewed. Yan Song, let your hand reach into your sleeve. She helped Saburo drag her hands. Then he found himself blocking the way the sleeve entered. Suddenly stitched here, Yanj shamed, I remember I didn't sew here, why? Saburo's guilty conscience. Where he secretly helped her sew, it would not be the sleeve. He busy suggested, if you don't cut your sleeves, they look good without them. This idea is good. So Saburo's sleeve was cut off by Yanj Kaka. The green robe was draped over the dark purple clothes. Yanji watched it for a long time and still admired his masterpiece, it's pretty, huh? Saburo nodded afterwards, it really looks good. The little song is really good. It was made the first time and it was so fast. When Saburo wore clothes made of Yanj to fish, he was careful not to stain his clothes. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gong Weipang. Chapter 1625. Two people had a big meal in the evening. And weird and crooked most of the night. Saburo drowsed his sleepy words and stroked her hair with fingers. He bowed his head, burying his face in her hair and whispering, little song, my limit is before tomorrow's sunrise. Yanji was drowsy and hummed when he heard the words, why, how fast. The next moment he reacted, and a spirit stood up and stared at Saburo, yelling, what? Before sunrise tomorrow. She froze and was about to dawn, so fast. Saburo nodded, don't worry, Yanj doesn't worry, it's the uncomfortableness of blocking the heart. She couldn't tell the feeling, interrupting Saburo hurriedly and asking, can you give me the repair in such a quick time? Can't you delay it for a few days? Saburo held her hand in hand and pressed her shoulders to make her lie back in her arms. The two lay back on her tree bed, it's all right, I will give it to you tomorrow morning. Yan Song got this, not only did he not feel better, but his heart was even more uncomfortable. Too uncomfortable. She didn't even remember his practice. She just thinks it happened too suddenly. She grabbed his loin. I'm still making clothes for you, it's your favorite white, can't you wait a few days? You can wait a day, I'll do it one day, this time I won't sew up my sleeves, I will definitely suit you. Her voice was pathetic. Maybe she didn't even notice the urgency and begging in her voice. Saber's loin was almost unscrewed by her. It really doesn't work. He thought, maybe at this moment, the pain in her heart was similar to what he felt now. Although she lost her heart, although she was a little bit too clever because he was watering too much. However, she was still worried about him and still cared about him. This is enough. He touched her furry head and said softly, sing a song, it's normal to live and die. It's normal, don't take it to heart. Yanj, I have no heart, I can't put it if I want to put it. Feeling a little bit angry, she eased her breath and said, I just thought you were going too suddenly. I was thinking about making delicious food for you a few times before you left. I still have a lot of things I want to do to you. She was talking, not knowing why, tears came out. Saburo gently wiped the corners of her eyes with his fingers. It's going to light up, don't cry, I'll help you dress and comb your hair. Yanj climbed up, I wear it for you, too. As she helped him dress, she asked, Saburo, will you hurt, will you be uncomfortable? Will it be painful? Can I help you? I can deal with you with one stroke, so that you don't feel any pain here. She touched his arm with his waist and his shoulders with his chest. She felt that she should keep him, even if he couldn't keep his body, he should keep him in his memory. This is her first husband, and she should remember him well. Even if there are countless husbands, she will rank him first. The words she said were pitiful, and the teardrops in her eyes couldn't fall off. Saburo squeezed her cheeks, chuckled, and said, it's not that serious. He looked relaxed. It's as if this is not a matter of life and death. It's as if this is very common. Yan Song was affected by him, and he was embarrassed to shed tears.